Gautama Buddha often emphasized to his disciples the profound impact of our words. He likened the tongue to the world's sharpest knife and our speech to the most potent weapon. While words do not wound physically, they can inflict deep emotional pain. Words can empower us or weaken us, depending on our mastery of when, where, and how much to speak. Using words wisely and kindly can lead to success, but misusing them can complicate our lives. Today, I want to share a different story about the power of measured speech and silence, illustrating how these can profoundly change our lives. In a tranquil village nestled in the heart of ancient India, there lived a wise old teacher whose reputation for profound yet sparingly used words had spread far and wide. His wisdom and the weight of his few words drew the attention of a young, ambitious politician from a bustling city nearby. Known for his eloquent speeches that often bordered on recklessness, the politician sought the guidance of the sage, hoping to uncover the secret to amplifying his influence and power. When the ambitious politician arrived at the serene dwelling of the wise old teacher, the contrast between his world of bustling politics and the calm of the rural setting was palpable. As they sat beneath a sprawling banyan tree, the air filled with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant bird calls, providing a backdrop that underscored the teacher's aura of tranquility. The politician, eager and restless, laid out his grand plans for political ascent and the influence he aspired to wield. He spoke of his strategies and goals, detailing his visions for reform and his desire to leave a lasting impact on his community and beyond. His words flowed freely, fueled by a blend of passion and a palpable thirst for power. The teacher listened silently, his expression unreadable, absorbing every word while observing the politician's demeanor and the energy with which he spoke. His quiet was not merely an absence of words, but a thoughtful, active engagement with what was being said. After the politician finished, there was a prolonged silence. The teacher's pause was deliberate, allowing the words to hang in the air, giving both him and the politician a moment to reflect on the weight of the ambitions shared. Then, with a gentle but firm tone, the teacher spoke, his words slicing through the politician's elaborate narrative with a simplicity that was stark and jarring against the complexity of political aspirations. For 1 full month, speak only when necessary, and even then, use as few words as possible, he instructed. His certainty was calm but underscored by a deep conviction, as if this simple act could unveil deeper truths. He continued, observe the effects of your silence. Notice the moments you feel compelled to speak and ask yourself why. Reflect on the nature of your thoughts when you withhold your words. This exercise is not merely about restraint but about discovery, understanding the power of your words by recognizing the power of their absence. The challenge laid out by the teacher was not just about limiting verbal expression but about fostering a deeper self-awareness and presence in each moment. This practice, he suggested, would reveal more about the politician's internal landscape than any outward display of eloquence could ever achieve. It was a journey inward, facilitated by the outward act of silence, a path to discovering the true essence of influence and power. In the initial days of his commitment to silence, the politician found himself in familiar settings that tested his resolve, the ornate council chambers, bustling with the voices of his peers, and the vibrant public squares where he once swayed the masses with his rhetoric. These places, once stages for his eloquence, now became battlegrounds of restraint. During council meetings, where decisions were debated and the future of the city was shaped, he felt the old urge surge within him. As discussions swirled around him, he would lean forward, ready to interject with a well-phrased argument or a persuasive point. Yet, each time, he recalled the teacher's serene face and firm instruction, causing him to pause and reconsider. His hand, previously always raised in eagerness, now remained resolutely by his side. This restraint was not just physical but mental. He had to actively quell the rush of thoughts clamoring for expression, choosing instead to focus on listening and reflecting on the words of others. At public gatherings, the challenge intensified. His constituents, accustomed to his passionate speeches, awaited his usual fervor. Standing before them, he could feel the weight of expectation in their attentive silence. The politician would begin with a few measured words, deliberately concise, leaving spaces that he previously would have filled with flourish and fanfare. Each pause was a test, each silence a lesson in discipline. He wrestled with the discomfort of holding back, the unfamiliar quiet making him acutely aware of the crowd's reaction, some puzzled, some thoughtful, others appreciative of this new, uncharacteristic contemplation he presented. These moments of silence were not merely absences of speech but opportunities for introspection. He began to notice the nuances of the discussions, the undercurrents of debate that he had previously overlooked in his haste to contribute. In the quiet spaces between his sparse contributions, he found himself understanding his colleagues' perspectives more deeply, recognizing the value in viewpoints he might have once hastily countered. This new practice also revealed to him the often overlooked power dynamics at play, how some voices were drowned out by louder ones, and how strategic silences could empower others to step forward. This observation made him appreciate the balance of speaking and listening, reshaping his approach to leadership and communication. Each day of silence was a step away from his old self, the one who believed power was seized by speaking the loudest or the most. Instead, he was learning that true influence often lay in thoughtful restraint and the willingness to place collective wisdom above personal expression. This transformation, difficult and uncomfortable, was slowly steering him toward a more balanced and reflective persona, promising a more profound impact than any of his previous oratorical displays. As the month progressed, the politician's self-imposed silence began to transform not only his own communication style but also the dynamics around him. His colleagues in the council, initially surprised by his unusual quietude, started adjusting to the new norm. They began filling the spaces he left, contributing ideas and solutions that might have been overshadowed by his former dominance. This shift led to richer, more diverse discussions, where multiple perspectives were considered, leading to more comprehensive and well-rounded decision-making. In public forums, his constituents also started to notice and respect his new approach. His brief interventions, laden with thoughtfulness and devoid of unnecessary embellishment, made his words stand out as measured and wise. The crowd learned to anticipate these moments, appreciating the depth rather than the volume of his rhetoric. The politician's new style attracted a different kind of attention. People began to see him not just as a charismatic leader but as a thoughtful and considerate one. Privately, the politician found this exercise in silence to be revealing. The spaces between his spoken words were filled with insights about himself and his methods. He realized how often he had spoken in the past not to add value to the discussion but to assert his presence or to satisfy his ego. This silence taught him the discipline of weighing his words, speaking only when he could truly contribute something meaningful. This period of reflection and restraint also allowed him to develop a deeper empathy for others. He began to genuinely listen, not just waiting for his turn to speak, but truly understanding the viewpoints and concerns of his peers and constituents. This empathy improved his relationships, fostering a sense of camaraderie and trust that had been more tenuous when he dominated conversations. By the time the month concluded, the politician had a profound realization: his words had more impact when they were few but well considered. He thanked the wise teacher, acknowledging that the lesson in silence was not just about speaking less, but about understanding more, about himself, about others, and about the essence of true leadership. Returning to his active political role, he maintained the balance he had learned. He spoke when necessary, with clarity and purpose, and listened more than he spoke, cultivating an atmosphere of respect and inclusivity. His leadership style, now marked by a calm authority and a genuine regard for collaborative dialogue, earned him not only greater respect but also greater effectiveness in his role. The politician's journey of embracing silence reshaped his approach to power and influence, proving that sometimes the quietest voice can be the most powerful one in shaping not just opinions but outcomes. This transformation was not just a personal victory but a lesson in the broader impact of mindful communication in leadership.